Hello lovely people, it's Ollie here, another fantastic month on the channel, so time to go through all the comments you've been leaving. I did a video on God and omnipotence and logic and whether God can create a stone so heavy that it can't lift the stone, that kind of thing. Mike Hermida wasn't a big fan of living theology, the idea we discussed where, yeah, okay, some theologians say you can do the philosophy of religion stuff and the logic and that kind of thing, but really what they're more concerned about is helping people, particularly politically helping people, whilst they're here on Earth, and they think that you don't so much need to do the logical philosophy of religion stuff in order to do that. Mike said that before we know how to act, we need to know what kinds of actions God would want us to do, and therefore we need to know whether or not God would exist. And yeah, maybe you're right, that's a fair point. I think that approach to it, though, is a particular approach to questions that maybe not everyone agrees with. So that's a particular approach to answering questions that a lot of people have, including me sometimes. I'm quite a sort of theory boffin, where before we start acting we need to know what exactly we're going to do and how is it going to fit into the grand scheme of things, and is everything we're going to do like coherent, and does it fit, and is there a plan, and so on. But not everyone has that approach, and this is interesting. I've been learning this at drama school as well. Some people have a more living the questions approach, as the poet Rilke might put it. They live the questions, that's what he encouraged people to do, and they kind of, well, maybe I don't know the answer, but I'll just kind of day by day act and I'll see what kind of answer I'm living a little bit further down the line. So yeah, okay, I think what you've said is very valuable there, but not everyone maybe sees the world that way, and that's the most interesting thing, of course. Greg Bard said that if God is omniscient, then it can't learn anything because it would already know everything. And yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, being omniscient, God wouldn't need to learn anything? Although, I don't know, I really like learning stuff, so that would be a shame. I wouldn't want to live like that. But then I guess, yeah, God would be used to it, so yeah, fair enough. Soul Guy said, your iguana is perilously perched. Well, this little guy is actually not an iguana, he's a tuatara. They're a very, very ancient kind of reptile. They're native to New Zealand. I think they're what's colloquially called a living fossil, although I know biologists don't like that term. And they're absolutely fascinating creatures. They're the only members of their order left. And when I was last in New Zealand, I got to see them. And they kind of live for 150 years, and they have like 3 eyes, they have a third eye in their head, and they're so ancient and they barely move all day. They have such slow metabolisms, and they're absolutely beautiful, wonderful creatures. So as a souvenir, my brother, who was with me at the time, got me this little guy to go. Oh, well, I guess they're a little bit more endangered now than they were. There you go, little guy. Speaking, though, of fabulous creatures, thank you so much to all of my patrons who've been helping me pay the rent this month and keeping me alive and fed. So thank you to Disciple, Lydia and Nate Thorn, Romi Collia, Valmiki Rao, Peter Wells, Hedon D'Ennui, Anya Chuyleva, Leovigildo Neto, Michael A. Hill, Tink, Cecile, Thomas Z, Philip Wielgus, Noe Cantu, Alex Goldhill, Jody Dawkins, Christopher Meyer, Abdullah Altuwaijri, Géza Csige, Jason Morrow, John Bell, Ben Simon, Michael Zafaropoulos, Ariel, Alex Brewer Scott, and Jeffrey Peckham. Thank you so much, you lovely creatures. I'm sorry I'm dressed quite formally, by the way. I've just been out and come back and now I'm filming, but it's actually lucky that I'm dressed up a little bit smartly because it turns out it's a special occasion. I was not expecting this, but when I got through the door just now, a package had arrived for me, and it's something I want to share with all of you. It's this. It's my silver play button that YouTube gives channels who reach over 100,000 subscribers. Now, I did reach over 100,000 subscribers, you know, a little while ago. It takes them a while to send the shipment out, but there it is. It's my official 100,000 subs, like, I guess, not prize, not reward, but I get a token, I get a thing, and I'm actually now, like, excited all over again. Like, this is amazing. 100,000 subscribers, and that's you. Like, you're part of this. Like, look at what we won! Look at what we won, everybody! This is amazing! Anyway, moving swiftly on, I also did a video about fame and what fame is. And Iron Mesdent said that maybe fame is the ability to change the perceptions of others. And, yeah, it's an interesting idea. I'm not sure whether that would apply in all cases, though. I'm just off the top of my head picturing a situation where maybe there's like a very famous starlet who is sort of very famous and very admired, but whose opinions aren't really listened to. They're just kind of there to stand and look pretty. I don't know, maybe that's just a situation I come off the top of my head where that would be somebody who's very famous but who maybe can't really change people's perceptions, especially their perceptions of them. So, I don't know about that one. Will Brand says you're not famous until there's a Wikipedia page about you. You know, maybe you're onto something there. because there's something in there that's a little bit about George Dickey's theory of art, where something is art if the art world says it's art. I've done a video about that before, and there's all kinds of problems with it, but that's interesting. Maybe you're not famous until certain people deem you to be famous. And yeah, maybe there's something interesting in that. Maybe I'll revisit the topic of fame someday with that. That's not a bad idea. Creative Nothing cited Jack Ellul and said that maybe fame is just the creation of individuated people, like people that we know to be individuals rather than just an anonymous cog in the machine. And yeah, I think there's something very interesting in that potentially about the context in which fame occurs and what different societies value people to be. Although, I'm interested in how people who became famous in other societies, how that translates into fame in ours, if those other societies don't do the kind of anonymous cog in the machine quite as effectively as ours does. I also wonder, is that just pushing the problem back? Is that just saying, okay, but then what does it mean for someone to be individuated compared to everyone else? I wonder if it's just kind of putting it back a layer. But that's still quite a thought-provoking comment. Well done. Everybody Loves Rasmus asked whether Santa Claus and Harry Potter are famous. Good question. My gut tells me no. I'm inclined to say that Harry Potter is not famous because he doesn't exist, and if you don't exist, you can't really be famous. I suppose in the context of the story, he's famous because people keep saying, "Oh, Harry Potter, you're the boy who lived." But in the real world, Harry Potter is not really famous because he doesn't exist. But that does kind of prompt the question: are the Harry Potter books famous? Can objects be famous? I don't know. Maybe they can. I suppose a lot of people have expectations about Harry Potter, and an expectation was the kind of definition of fame that we were working on. So a lot of people have expectations about the books that would mean they're famous. Although, I mean, a lot of people have... Is the moon famous? I don't know. Would you say the moon is famous? A lot of people have expectations about the moon, I guess. And well, it might not be the first thing you would say about the moon, that it's famous. But I suppose if an alien were to come to Earth and be like, so, like, the moon, do, like, a lot of people into this? A lot of people know about this? You'd be like, oh, yeah, like, it's pretty famous. Like, a lot of people know about it. So, yeah, okay, maybe. Those are all the comments I've got time for. Thank you so much to not just all my patrons, but every single one of you who's helped us get this thing. Like, how amazing is that? Like, I never thought I would ever get to having one of these. Ever. No. Finally. Hey, Birdkeeper Toby. Finally, I got mine. Take that. I'm coming for you. Not really. Thanks very much for watching. Bye!